fucking sad. I was so fucking bad. I couldn't do my job. I couldn't be that man that I should have been. And I'm a bad friend. I'm fucking sorry, man.
This is a long one. 4 minutes. I don't need it playing the entire time for the intro, but it's still a good song. Yo, alright. I just want to let it play out. I like it so much. Or shout out to Crofty. I don't think he has any new songs out lately. No. Didn't he have more uploads? Huh. Turn on some. This is one song. This is. Yeah. You know what I actually really want? Dude, I've been watching some Breath of the Wild Let's Plays. Specifically Hassan, just because it popped up in my recommended and I was like, fuck it, sure. But dude, I miss that game so much. Like, actually one of the best. One of my favorite open world games. I love open world games. Just so much to do. So chill, so relaxing. Even just watch. I didn't realize, like, even watching someone play. I mean, it's a lot of like not doing much, just like walking, but you can put that in the background and then just all the sounds of Breath of the Wild. Like, fuck, man. Dude, I can't wait till the next one comes out. Hopefully it's soon. Because God, like I don't want to replay Breath of the Wild. I really don't. I haven't played the DLC. I never bought it. So that's a possibility. I could go back to my main save, buy the DLC, and keep going. But like I don't know. I feel like I need to go back in fully from the beginning. Like really relearn everything, and just get that feeling back. You know. I just feel like I'm too OP at this point. It's like not gonna be the same. Yeah, play that in the background. But what's up? 6-minute intro, basically. It's been a week because there was no art stream this week. No art stream last week. We took a 2-week break because Copper needed it. It's totally fine. Cool with me. But hopefully we come in strong this week, and that's what matters. But it's been a week. And I have done stuff within the week that I'm happy with, we could say. I've been productive this week in terms of the game, in terms of thinking about the game. I don't like these noises. Can you just give me a song, please? Not that one. Isn't there another... I mean, this is just general Zelda music, but... The right mood. I got a mood right now. I need to feel it. Honestly, that Monster Hunter music that I've been playing for the last couple streams. Good. Or JRPG music. I think it's within the JRPG music playlist. Yeah, this has been nice. So what have we done this, or what have we done last week? Well, I remember I did a checklist. I didn't do everything on the checklist, and I honestly should move some of the stuff I didn't do on the checklist to another place so I know what to do next. Haven't done that. Haven't reorganized the progress doc for months. Really something I need to get back to because even though I generally have everything in my head organized, there's definitely stuff I probably don't remember. And I just need that all in one place. And I started doing that and then I stopped doing that. Isn't good. Not good. I need to keep doing that. And continue. It's been like 2-3 months. Just have every, like, why this, why that kind of reasoning stuff. Even though, again, I generally have everything in my head. Here I was just doing like a quick, just because the symbol, the diamond symbol I keep using is a D with a line through it, and I realized like maybe I could just fuck with that a bit. You know, maybe make this into its own symbol. I've heard mixed things. I've asked people. Some people like the triangle more. Others like the D more. Others don't like how the D is disconnected from the plus. Somehow maybe combine it. Could do that actually. Thinking about it now. Other than that, so we got this. I don't think I talked with Copper about this, so I would be interested in what Copper has to say. Other than that, we did make the tokens. We did update the character sheet. Might update it again today. We'll see in a second. Did do the back. Haven't decided the NPC card back. Need to go over the demo doc. Not on stream though. Pets, as Otter mentioned, I guess last week or 2 weeks ago. Probably 2 weeks ago at this point. Pets I'm thinking would be in the same place as the player. So looking at a little hot. The tea's getting me a little hot, to be honest. So if you look at this, yeah, we got this here. Okay. Pets would probably be here. Probably with their info somewhere. Probably like this, and then you just kind of place them wherever. So their info would be at the bottom. And then you could place them. Which makes sense because then the info would actually be below. I don't mind stuff coming off of this. This is more specific because it has to be in between like the pipes. Like I kind of want it to be inside the ship, right? So it has to fit kind of. This, it lines up, so it makes sense for it to be lined up at all times. But in terms of like a dude here or a dude here, doesn't really matter if you kind of like have some stuff coming off the edges. I think that's fine. Especially the pilot. So it makes sense if there's like a pet and then some of the info comes off from the bottom. And that would be its own item card. That wouldn't be like a separate category or anything. I mean, it'd be a separate category, but it wouldn't be a separate type of card. Probably would be a category. I still don't know if I'm going to do categories, if there's a point. Depends. Actually thinking right now if that matters. Make a jail and death markers. Need to do that. Don't know if I'm gonna do that today. I need to do. And then for future updates, was it written here? No. Was it written here? Wait, let me check. That. I did write a lot in a bit, which I'm going to go over. This is kind of going to be the bulk of this stream, kind of going over what I wrote in the past week. To be honest, I don't know how much I'm going to do today on stream. Just kind of a roundup of thoughts. So for future updates, I'm thinking the best way of doing items in a shop without getting bad RNG for like either super low tier items or super high tier items you can't afford would be to just split it into 3 decks. Splitting it by how many stats it's actually affecting. So like if it's only speech or only defense, if it's only one thing, then it'd be tier 1 deck. If it'd be 2 things like a normal equip card would have, it'd be like attack and speech, then that's tier 2. And then mission cards, which already are good cards, would be 3 things. Or maybe a specific, ship modules would probably be a tier 3. You know, more expensive stuff in general. So probably more around price. Maybe. You know, because the high end of tier 1 would be 5, while the high end of tier 2 would be 15. No, 10. 10. The high end of tier 3 would be 15. But then the low end of... The high end of tier 1 would be 5, but then the low end of tier 2 would be 2. Because it would be 1 and 1. Right. But then I'm thinking tier 1 would be more consumables. So stuff that you can only use once would be in there. So if you like want higher luck with something like that, then you would go there. If you want an equipable weapon or armor, you would go into tier 2. Right? So yeah, tech items with effects would be tier 1 and 2, depending on what they do. Depending maybe how expensive they are. And pet items, as we said, that would be something in the future. Location effects also would be something in the future. Don't want to think about those right now. And mid-path encounters, even though they're possible to do, I feel like they're not important in the current demo, if you know what I mean. You get what I'm putting down. Right. Here's another example of how the money symbol looks, so we can just, you know, compare those. Maybe I'll do a poll. And then during that last week, I updated the cards, I did this, and I made the tokens. Very productive session. Very happy with what I did there. Of course, thank you to Copper for designing these in the first place, other than the UFO. Standard UFO. And then we updated the board. That's what it looks like. And then I did this off stream. So this is what I said I would do off stream after I ended last stream, which is making the rest of the transparencies. I think I made the civilian one, although I redid it to make it easier to do on off stream. And then I made the rest. Looking at it now, is it necessary? No. Probably cleaner look here. I don't know how much I'm going to change this in the future. Probably a bit. We'll see. I do like this boulder though. Might make that boulder. I do like this boulder as well. Because there's going to be multiple tier decks now, I might change the symbols. We'll see. I was actually thinking of making this the symbol for the NPCs and then maybe having the other symbol for money. We'll see. And now we come to 5 days ago. I went back because I was looking at the items we've made so far, and I was thinking, okay, when I'm writing the little like lore stuff for each one, I was thinking maybe I'll do that. I wrote it actually right here. Just you know, like each item, and then I was just gonna write a description for each thing. Still gonna do that though. So instead of writing that, I decided let's reorganize the Excel a bit, just because we've changed items a bit. We've changed items mostly. So I'll show that right now, I guess. Just to show off what I've done. First, here. So I just kind of, this is what I had before as a template, right? So not in the way. Right, so we got a bit of stuff here. Wanted to keep this as a template just to see what I've done before. And now here I just plugged in every single one we've drawn, kind of what I organized before on the other document. And then what tier deck it would be in, if it's equipable or consumable, and then what category it might be in, just to have for future reference if I ever need it. And we do have the lore, blorp, blip, whatever it's called. No effects on these general items. No effects on those. That's what I did here. And then I wanted to see, like, okay, let's say a crystal sniper or a scaly hammer. Like, what species would that come from? What's the kind of the lore in that? So I was kind of thinking about that. And I decided to reorganize the species a bit. Because I do have the wanted, so I do have it by name, like all the targets. And there is some info about their species, but not like specific info. So let's see, like here's an example, like the pig dudes, Hamhawk and Fester, right? Their species is called Le Couchon. Joke on the pig in French. Their planet main terrain is like a muddy planet, let's say. Their descriptor. So like if we say there's a crystal sniper, is the descriptor crystal, or like a like here, like the mineral mace? Because that descriptor specifically connected with a certain planet, with a certain species. So I kind of like wanted to put that there. They're kind of stinky, you know. It's in their lore that they're stinky. Their use or their resource or their export, I think, is a better... I think it's fine. They are specifically mostly farmers because they love food. And they don't like thieves because they don't like people stealing their food. Here, this is just something I wanted to maybe organize if it helps with the lore. Mostly came from when I was thinking about the ant dudes, the Galagine, and how they would probably not have one queen, but many queens because our person is a queen. I don't think she's the only queen. Queen Naromi. Because it'd be, I feel like that's weird if the main queen of the planet is like a felon. I don't know. I kind of don't like that, so it makes sense that she has her own smaller army that just like is used recklessly, and that's why they're kind of after her, even though her species has many queens. Let's say. So I was trying to think like what would that be called? The Garimpi, because they are controlled by who is the strongest, right? They fight for supremacy. I found this word, which I think means that. I'm not a political guy. I don't know politics that well. I don't know the terminology. I've never done political science. So, this will probably be the worst thing in the lore if that's ever people ever give a shit about the lore of the. And then just some like iconic, of course, members, likes, dislikes, and then some iconic maybe weapons or armor that comes from this specific species. Other than species, we also have the planets within the system we're actually playing, so now I'm thinking like, okay, maybe some stuff comes from the planets that we're playing on. Such as the current like this, right? Like the Canyon planet got the crystals. We could just say the crystal sniper came from these crystals. It's made out of these crystals. You could easily say that. So that, you know, just for a blip in the lore, it's an easy thing to reference back to. So yeah. Yeah, here's a link for stuff. Alright. And so far these are the only ones we've drawn. We do have a bit more, to be honest. I have put a lot on Copper's plate, and honestly, a lot on my plate. I feel like I've stretched this a little too much, a little too much. Not as I did say I wanted to make a game that wasn't as simple as my other games. The scope of this has grown quick though, and the issue is this stream might make it grow even more, and that's worrying to me. But I don't know how to go around it. So that's why I need to talk through it on stream and see if it's really that big of an issue. Right. So here's some of the government stuff. So that, you know, that explains why this is here. And then I remembered while Copper was talking on stream on the last art stream, he mentioned there was some kind of passing comment. And I remember hearing like him say crit rate. And I was like, what the fuck was he talking about crit rate with our game? Like, where did he get that idea? But I don't remember the rest of the sentence, so I went back, I found the point, and I realized, like, I was totally, like, unfocused on what Copper was saying. Because Copper was talking to, like, Dave's raid. Which is cool, totally cool. But I just wasn't paying attention. And so Copper was talking about the bubble bat being a one-hit and pop item that does 5 damage or more if there's a slim chance of a crit soap in their eyes. And I just thought, like, okay, this is kind of like, I feel like, one, maybe there's a misunderstanding of how the fighting system works, or two, I need to redo this fighting system, or this battle system, or like this encounter system, because it's not really a battle system. But that makes like things a little deeper in a not good way. Like in a I don't know what to do with it kind of way. You know what I mean? Like I might have to rethink a lot of shit if I change the system, which I don't want to do. So as you can see, I wrote some stuff down. I've just been feeling like I don't know if people are gonna like this system. I don't know if the simplified, because I don't want to make it too complicated. And when you look at it, it is pretty simple once you play it. It's literally just, is this number greater than this number, you win. There's no like damage being dealt. You know what I mean? It's more just like, you're thrown in this situation. Are you prepared for this situation? And then you can kind of RP your way out of the situation. If you win, you win. If you lose, then like, okay, you lost. And that's another problem, because I remember talking with my buddy Nick, and him saying, like, there need to be repercussions. And I agreed with him. But I didn't know how to properly do it. Because there isn't many things you can take away from the player. Right? The main thing they're going for is infamy. Infamy is something, or reputation, or however you want to think about it, that can only be gained through completing bounties, dead or alive, or doing missions. So that's end game stuff. That should not be able to be taken away from you. Once you get infamy, you keep infamy. Okay? Okay, then there's the other level. Items. Okay, well, to get an item, you first need to make the money to get an item, and you need good RNG to get the item you want to get. Is it fair to take away an item from a player as a repercussion? That would piss me off. If I worked hard for a thing, I would be really mad if there's not even a possibility of me getting it back. Alright, that's another thing. Maybe make it a possibility to get it back. That's a fair scenario. We could do that. As like a little interruption to the game. Interruption to the players, what they're doing, right? You know, give them a little... I mean, I'll talk about it later, but I'll talk about it later. Just a little interruption. Okay, well, what's the next thing? What's the next most important thing? Well, if you're buying items with money, then money is like core. Because money is the thing that you need to go throughout the entire game. Money equals stats. Okay, and you can't take away stats because I'm not gonna, like, it's a board game, it's not a video game. I can't just -1 a stat and expect people to remember that. It is incredibly difficult, in my opinion, to keep track of, like, constant small numbers, or numbers getting bigger or smaller if it's not written down. And I don't expect people to write it down. That's something I don't want to complicate too much. So I'm not going to mess with the stats unless there's a literal card that has, like, +2 or something. I don't want to just say you lose stats. It feels like that's going to get hellish in terms of gameplay. Too much to keep track of. So the next understandable thing is money. And that's what I've been trying to balance for the last, like, month. Right? Like, everything I've been doing with encounters, the point of it has been to balance the money system. To make it so that money flows in consistently. I already gave up on the thing where, like, bounties will give you a lot of money. Or, like, more money than you can expect. Just because you can't just rely on bounties to make money. You need to rely on other things because you won't be prepared for bounties if you need to get to that point first. Okay. Well then, the importance of bounties is in for me. Okay, sure. And that's how I left it. But now gaining money and losing money as a repercussion, I feel like that just puts players in, like, a constant loop. If they lose through RNG and gain through RNG, then the progression is unstable, is unpredictable, and that's fine to a certain extent. But it's problematic in a lot of ways. Just simply in terms of how many RNG possibilities there are within this game. So the sentiment in this paragraph is like, I don't know if I feel this. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I feel like I'm in over my head in a lot of ways. So, as I wrote here, I decided to finally rewatch The Mandalorian because it was the core inspiration to the game in the first place. Of course, Space Baby and Copper and Rye's designs were put something in my head where I was like, this plus this equals something great. You know? It really could. It really does. It really, I mean, Space Baby's its own thing. And that looks great. But I want a bit of that magic in a game. You know, so I'm happy I can collaborate with Copper and bring that magic to people having fun. Right? Like people doing something with these drawings, actually like interacting with them in a way that's not reading or watching, like you're actually doing something with it. Not saying those other mediums aren't good. I just like the medium of gameplay. Controlling something in a way that's fun. In a way that's random. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway. And The Mandalorian, I mean, I mentioned The Mandalorian before, kind of in this way that I'm going to explain now, but in a more summarized way, where I looked at it like, okay, if this was a video game, here are the things it would include. And then I was like, okay, well, this thing I can't do for a board game, this would be better for a video game, this thing is good for a board game, this thing I can't do at all. And I kind of just went through the list of stuff, of the ideas I had. But what I realized is like, no, especially the intro, the very first 10 minutes of The Mandalorian are the basic gameplay loop I'm going for. That is like the key inspiration for the encounter system, in a way. So why the fuck don't I go back to that? Because it's been 2 years now, and I haven't rewatched that first episode. Why don't I just go back to that instead of replaying it in my mind? Just watch it and go step by step. Is this mirrored in the gameplay loop as I want it to be? And for the most part, it is, in the sense of how I'm thinking about it. But there are definitely things that weren't. And that's why I wrote everything down. And it's like 3 pages of shit. So I'm gonna not read everything. I'm gonna go through some key stuff. So I'm explaining all these events in game terminology. So in terminology that like my game will use. Mando, just for my own like psyche, for my own common sense, equals the player. Every time I write Mando, that means like the main player. That's like the name of the main player. And the plus sign, as you can see, there's dashes and there's pluses. The dash is an event that basically can be mirrored in the game so far, and a plus is something that isn't in the game currently and could be added possibly. There are notes at the end of this. Cool? Cool. So, looking at what, I'm gonna just go to the end because there's some stuff here. Mando's current inventory, if we again mirror it the way as it is in the game, he has a Beskar helmet that is high defense, that's high speech, because every time Beskar is seen, it is understood Beskar is not just dangerous, it's high durability. It's like a big boy thing to have. Clearly his helmet, shiny, is Beskar. Even the dude mentions like, oh, is your armor Beskar? And he like scratches it. So clearly, high DS helmet. Mid DS chestplate, because it's not Beskar, it's like a Dura Steel or something. But he upgrades it later. But for now, mid chestplate. Mid greaves. Greaves are the leg things. I've been trying to find a good word for leg armor. Also need to talk with Copper if we're going to combine boots and leg armor, because that's something I've been thinking about too. And he has a cape, probably low defense, doesn't do much, maybe just a speech cape, I don't know. In terms of weapons, he has a blaster, which I would say was mid. He has his disruptor sniper, which is used a lot more in future episodes, which is high. People are scared that shit disintegrates motherfuckers. And it stuns, very useful. That's high AS. He has a vibroblade. I should just for consistency, let's have the high to low. He has a vibroblade, which he only uses, he actually uses it a couple times, but yeah, it's a knife. Low AS. And then he has a grapple, a flamethrower. Bruh. A grapple, a flamethrower, and a detonator. And he also has his whistling birds, but he gets those afterwards, so not really a point mentioning. And those would probably be effect-only items. I don't think those would have any kind of stats attached to them. Maybe the flamethrower. Maybe the grapple. That's kind of hard, because those feel more like tools than they do like weapons. The flamethrower, arguable. The other two, not sure. In terms of other tools he has the tracker and he has a telescope. And on the ship, he has the carbonizer that carbonizes, makes the bounties into carbonite. So that definitely has an effect. And then if you were to have a pet, clearly it would be Grogu, little Yoda baby. Baby Yoda. Okay. So that's kind of a inventory summary of what he would have in-game. Now, how many of those things he would have equipped at once is arguable, because the limit is 4. Probably would have the helmet, chestplate, greaves, and pistol, and then equip the sniper later for other stuff. Maybe, that's what I'm thinking, combining boots and legs. I don't know. Oh, dude. Okay. So, do I need to go through this? I feel like I should just show this. And then go just read through it yourself if you need to. What's some highlights? There's some stat checks here with speech intimidation. Then here's the fight. So here's a big... I should just go to the notes, honestly, because I feel like those... here's a good little note, though. Whole encounter feels like 3 target encounters more than 1 NPC encounter. And that's interesting. Because technically, right now, a target encounter only happens when there is a target. So you see the target of the wanted on the board. When you go up to the target, then a target encounter happens. And depending on their mood and on the RNG of the situation, the role of the situation, that is when an outcome happens. You kill them, or you capture them, or they escape, they whatever. Or they offer you money, or they, you know, you agree to it, you don't agree to it. Right? The thing here is that he approaches not a target, but basically an NPC. And the NPC is a hostile NPC. Now, I don't have hostile NPCs currently. NPCs will always offer money, offer intel, as long as your stats are high enough. So the thing here is, these are hostile NPCs. A hostile NPC would probably act the same way as a target NPC. They are unpredictable. So, I was thinking, maybe including an ambush encounter card, where you draw a civilian encounter, not a, you know, it's RNG, you don't know what to expect, and instead of getting an offer for money, you get ambushed, or there's hostility or something. And that's when you have to draw a target encounter to see how that comes out. Problem is that stats for bounties are written on the wanted posters. They're not written anywhere else. These invisible, imaginary, hostile characters need to have stats put on them. Full ASD, ADS. Attack, defense, speech. Because you never know what you're going to get. Target encounters always reference a target's stats. So there has to be something written on the encounter card, on the civilian encounter card, that reflects stats that can be looked at. That's one thing. And then this kind of goes back to repercussions of like, okay, now there's hostile enemies. What happens? Okay, you win. Great, maybe you loot them or something. You get something. Get some money. Get an item. Something. What if you lose? What if you get attacked? What happens? And that's hard. Because if the only repercussion is you lose money, I mean, all that does is make you pissed off that you wasted like 5 turns gathering that money. I mean, depending how much money you lose. If you don't lose a lot of money, then it feels like you could not care. If you lose too much money, then it feels like you're wasting your time playing this game. You're just grinding money. I don't want this to feel like you're grinding money. Like, I feel like at points it feels like that. I feel like early game might feel like that. And that's why I was thinking, like, maybe a kind of mission, like, just adding flavor to the ways you get money. Little side missions. And that's reflected in the Mandalorian in a bit. We'll see in a second. Let's keep going. Sweating a little bit. Just a little hot. And, I mean, he defeats the dudes. He kills them. Which is, I mean, that is an outcome that can happen in the game. And then the dude's thankful. He's grateful that you defeated those guys that were trying to kill him. And then he offers you money, which, I mean, that would be a random thing that happens because he could try to run away. He could try to attack you. In that moment, you don't know what the fuck he would do either. But he decided to offer you money because he had money. And then the Mandalorian obviously said, like, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. Now a classic line. And that would basically be an intimidation check, like speech and attack. Obviously, the target was a low-level target, so those would be much. I mean, his attack is high, his speech is high. Those would go over. So obviously, he captures him. There is no travel in the game between points on the planet. That would be fun, but there's only one location, really. See, this is like, I don't know how to organize my thoughts here. A big part of the game is seeing who you're encountering. You see exactly who you're interacting with. And I mean, there's fun in not knowing what the encounter is going to go like, what the mood of the target is, what they're going to offer you, blah, blah, blah. So if I take that away and make half the game you see him, half the game you don't, I wonder what the mood of the game will feel like. Because this ambush, those NPCs are clearly not seen within, like, let's say the bar. Maybe, I mean, maybe there's some dudes in the background. I don't know. But they wouldn't have, like, their own NPC card. So it feels like half of it is like a text-based RPG where you have to imagine, like a D&D thing where you have to imagine it, and then half isn't imagined. But the half that isn't imagined, does that make the game unique, or does it make it more of a pain in the ass? If you could just imagine shit and just go through encounters imagining shit. Because you can imagine that you captured a target and you put him in your ship and then you flew. Like, you don't need the pieces for that. Those pieces are just there for kind of the flavor of it. The flavor of the game, that you see your capture, that you take him, you put him in your ship, you put the jail thing on him, and then you fucking go. So it's yeah, you know. Technically, you could play fucking D&D. You don't fucking need this board at all. You know, you could just fucking make this shit up. I'm kind of stuck there. You know what? I'm gonna show this. And then I'm gonna show the rest of that. I don't want to waste. I mean, no one's watching anyway, so it's fine. Another thing is wildlife attacking, like animals attacking Mando. It happens a couple times. Obviously, there's no animal tokens other than pets, which could be included, possibly, in that. But I'm thinking, like, would that be a target encounter, or would that be the same as like an ambush? Kind of hard to wrap my head around that. Another thing is the live capture, which it is a live capture. He doesn't kill the guy. talks with him and actually offers him stuff while they're flying, which kind of reflects a civilian encounter, but with a goal of the target, of escape. So it's kind of a mix of a civilian encounter and a target encounter. And I'm not going to make a separate card for that. I'm just not going to do that. So I wonder if that information were to have to go somewhere, where would that go? Would that be included in a target encounter and make it workable in that situation, or would it be another thing? And I wouldn't even know, like, when... what random event would trigger that in flight. You know what I mean? Would that be just a marker on the board of like spaces where, let's say, a live target escapes from their jail cell? Yeah, I'm really wondering about that. Because if we do mid-flight encounters with targets or with NPCs, I need to think about that. I mean, I need to think about this in general. Not on stream. Again, I'm recounting my thoughts on stream right now. So okay. And then the dude is about, like, he wants to escape, but instead he carbonizes him. Okay, he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Then he goes to the hub, which is basically the same as, like, the middle of our board. Hands in the bounty. Here, there is a dude that he haggles with for his bounty amount. It's not going to be in the game. The game will have like a government-owned bounty system where they just pay out if you hand someone in. No need to haggle. Fuck that. Got some examples of like what some people did. Some bail jumpers and a smuggler. And here even he says 5,000 is the lowest bounty, and then Mando says that won't even cover fuel these days, which I like. I like that because that kind of reflects the money system in our game, where like 5k isn't that much. It's technically 5 pieces, but it's not that much. You know? Like 5k would be like a 3 attack 2 speech item, which is like an average gun or an average piece of armor, possibly, you know. Which is cool. Which is cool. I like that. So that also shows that like the biggest bounty he has is pretty trash. Like it isn't giving much, which is reflected. So like, okay, cool. And then he gets a final offer. And this reflects the faction thing I'm thinking of, the faction missions, where you're not getting a bounty from the government. You're getting it from a specific person that you're interacting with. There, you'll just randomly find an NPC that has this faction mission. They're like, hey, instead of like handing this guy over to the government, bring him to us and we'll give you a special thing. I think that's perfect. No poster, same as the game. Maybe you would get a tracker. I don't know how trackers are gonna be done in the game, if they are. There's no way to like, I wish you could like clip a thing to a card and like have a thing attached to a card while you're shuffling. You know, like a piece of tape or something, like you could just attach to the card, lock it to the card, a single card and then shuffle it within the deck without knowing like where it is, without it bumping into other stuff. You know? And then of course the pay is way bigger. I mean, 5, that's nothing. Like, he's getting Beskar. Beskar is fucking expensive, you know. So then he agrees with he meets the NPC. NPC has some guards, so maybe that would like cause a situation if something were to happen. He offers Beskar, which is also used to upgrade his armor, which I'm not gonna do. That's great for a video game. Not good for this. No upgrading system. Then he goes to the blacksmith to upgrade. Nope. Again, an attack of wildlife. Then he meets a farmer NPC who actually gives him a side mission. He offers him intel for capturing wildlife. Interesting. Don't know how I would do that. Basically, I don't know where to put, like, pet cards. Like, you're supposed to collect something. How? Don't know how. Not sure. I just feel like there would be too many decks. It's like, let's say every location has its own deck. Which is also possible, but like I feel like that would just be too much. I feel like there's already kind of too much. I've been thinking of doing like 2-sided cards, but then I don't think it's gonna work. I mean like 2 different things, like let's say target encounter on one side, civ encounter on the other side, but then if you need to keep a card, then it completely negates what's on the other side and you can't keep that anymore. Then he meets another bounty hunter, a droid, which we can imagine is another player. And their side mission is to take out hunters. Okay, let's say that's a target encounter. They actually agree that they will split the money, but the droid will take the infamy, the reputation. And that's perfect because then you can keep, the person who agrees to that can keep the reputation of the mission, which will be written on the mission. But then they can agree to split the money however they want, which is not written anywhere. You can just split the money. So that sounds perfect. Totally doable if there's co-op in the game. And then, I mean, how you would co-op target encounters? Fuck if I know. I don't fucking know, dude. And then, like, he kills the droid and then gets the... so you can see, like, maybe fighting over the bounty as well, and, like, killing the deal you've just made would be a possibility. Again, I feel like that would be super toxic. It would be fun. I don't know. But here's my notes, and these are actually stuff I should read. A bunch of NPC examples there from the show. Just kind of writing out like what different jobs people have. And then did some maybe ship effects. We got carbonizing right here, which would be you don't have to feed live targets. They would still be alive, but you kind of froze them in time, so you don't have to feed them. If we include feeding, which we might at this point, actually. I do have my hot dogs. God, this stream is a lot of talking. Did a lot of writing, now I'm doing a lot of talking. God damn. Alright. So first, I mean, a lot of the stuff I already mentioned, but let's just read it for stream. So here are things I want to add, questions I have, if I want to add them or not, and general points. So, first big point that I mentioned earlier. There aren't real repercussions, and I don't know if I want to stick with money being the main repercussion. So now the thing I was talking about, how I don't want to overcomplicate things, will giving players health make it overcomplicated. It's another thing to keep track of, right? But it's another thing to keep track of, but it feels like real repercussions. And I mean, it is a staple of most games where if you get damaged by an enemy, you lose health. Once you lose all your health, it's an even bigger repercussion. This is a standard within games. Why shouldn't this game have it as well? Why am I avoiding this standard? Is the logic I have right now. Is there a reason I'm avoiding this standard? Okay, what does adding this element do? Adding this element allows for more possibilities in item effects. It gives a point to consumables, right? There can now be healing in the game. There can be healing of 1 heart. There can be healing of 2 hearts. There can be healing of all hearts. It's already 3 effects right there. If someone damages you, they can damage 1 heart, 2 hearts, maybe. What's too much? What's too little? Now I gotta think about this element. I focus so much on money, now I gotta focus so much on health. Do I want to do that? It feels like I gotta. I feel like if I'm introducing hostile elements that do proper repercussions, I need to also include a health system. It would be heart-based, pretty sure. I feel like it would be max 5 hearts. Max. And I feel like the hearts would be tokens that you would put right beside your pilot seat. Right beside your pilot seat. To the left. So expanding the character sheet all the way here. Just making this on the left a little bigger. Just stacking hearts right there. I feel like that's the least intrusive area to do that. Ambush scenario, talked about it. Some NPC encounters could be forced scenarios. Like an ambush, where only 1 scenario on a card or a must complete. Oh, no. Right. So either the entire card is like, it just writes ambush and then reward if defeated or repercussion. Or it would be the first thing on the card is like, you must do it before you can interact with this NPC. Also a possibility. But it then makes... actually, I feel like I shouldn't have that. I should have it so that ambush is something you have to do before you pick up another NPC card, if that's the case. Just because if a ambush is connected with a specific NPC, then every time you get to that NPC, like, it doesn't make sense if we're doing the RNG event thing. That like every time you meet up with the blacksmith, you have to go through an entire brigade. Having faction missions have prerequisites of stats, money, specific items, or best yet a certain amount of infamy is a great way to gate them off. There could even be a storyline within the game through gates. I love this because this is something I've thought about before, but I didn't know if I could do it the way I want to do it, and I think I can, and I think actually having infamy be the gate is a great way. One of the things that, I forget his name, the dude in Mandalorian, the underworld guy, says is, like, he was happy the Mandalorian did it because he was like, you had the reputation for it. So an NPC trusting you, especially a faction mission NPC trusting that you will complete the mission based on the infamy you have gathered throughout the game is fantastic in my opinion. And of course there could be others where it's like, are you strong enough? Others, it's like, do you have enough money? Even if you don't have to spend the money, it's like, are you just like a rich guy? Like, do you have the money for this? Or a specific item where it's like, let me in, I have this specific card or something. All possible. And that can snowball. I don't know how yet. I haven't thought about that yet, but it can snowball. I can see it for sure. Where if you do one thing, like let's say there's 3 revolutionary faction mission encounters. 2 of them are super hard to get into, but the first one is easy to get into. If you do the first one, then you can do the second one, then you can do the third one. Does that cut off those possibilities from other players? Maybe. Is that bad? Maybe. My biggest issue with that is that, like, it tells you catch the specific person, and then you do, and then that card goes back in the thing. Now every time someone gets it, you have to, like, see, like, oh, no, I already got that guy. And I think that's a big issue. Is you saying, I already got that guy. Or, like, is that guy in the deck still? Should we check? I don't remember. It's just, like, shit like that. Side missions can give money, intel, or items. Missions can be find and give specific item, named or stat-based, or kill a certain amount of targets. If co-op is added, then side missions can be completed together on the same planet. I think that's a good specification. If on the same planet, I'm gonna build that. Splitting will boot up the players. Infamy it cannot be split. Adding some kind of self-destruct item would be funny. That could have to do with health. I think that'd be really funny. Now questions. Wildlife attacks as random location effects. How do we do wildlife attacks? Is random location effects possible? Is that doable? How is that doable? Can a live capture continue to interact with the player while in the brig? Like I was saying, mid-flight conversations, are those possible? Should the game only have players interact with visible NPCs, or be more of a role-playing text-based RPG? I mean, more of a role-playing. Because role-playing and then RPG, same thing. Referencing things you don't see on the board, which is something I talked about already. If tool items, effect-only items, are also equipable, what would they do passively, like a telescope or binoculars? Good question. Should boots and pants be separate items, or should there be an armor set of 3, meaning head, chest, and legs? Very Breath of the Wild, actually. Right, and then that kind of makes sense with the limit of 4 items you have on yourself. Because then you would have like a set. Do sets have bonuses? I think that would be also great. I think that's a great question. I looked into the Bounty Hunter Guild a bit just because it was shown so much in the episode in the Mandalorian. Upgrading items is not a viable option for the board game. Good for video game though. Only 1 capture per ship, no stacking captures because he had the people in Carbonite. He had like 4 of them. I think the back and forth of going to the hub every time you catch someone is a good system to keep. The bounty system is more omnivorous, no haggling. No alternate currencies for now, too much going on for them to matter. The Grogu bounty giver reflects a kind of faction mission setup, only name, unique reward may be given tracker. Yes. So like, let's say, they say, go after small boy, and you're like, okay, go after small boy. Got a name, don't have a face, got a name though. A unique reward, and then maybe you're giving a tracker. I don't know how much I like the tracker though. The tracker feels like an OP item in this game. As before, dead or alive captures can be 2 different prices. Let's say $2 for alive versus $1 for dead. So that can change depending on their status. That would be unique to the situation or to the poster. Although fun, there are not multiple locations to travel between on a single planet. What I thought I'd talk about before. Some fun effects. Multiplies item stats instead of adding them. So if you have them beside each other, for example here, you would have 2 attack, 2 defense, and 3, 6, 9, 12 speech if you were to have all these cards together. What that effect would do, and that would be a ship module, would actually make this 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Which does make it OP as fuck. And that's why I wrote, is that too OP? Is it a one-time use thing instead of a ship module? I think that would be better than having a constant OP ship module. Plus a number of moves to every roll. The movement increase, actually just like this right here. Carbonizing or something, freezing someone would basically made that you don't have to feed live captures. That goes all the way back to our, I mean that was like in January when I thought consumables could be used as, like you have to feed dudes every turn if you have them in your jail so that they don't die by the time you get to the hub. I still think that's a fun system. I feel like that's easily forgettable though. Recover 1 health each turn on board. So that has to do if I were to add the health system. So, yesterday, having rewatched the first episode, I really liked how it made me think. I liked all the notes I took because I haven't been taking a lot of notes. And I'm mad that I didn't do it earlier. Yep. Unique and fun scenarios in future episodes, just because, as you can see in a sec, it does break off for sure. And I knew that coming in. I think the first 3 episodes are reflective of the gameplay loop, while the future episodes are more like fun scenarios, but they're not. It's not about a bounty hunter anymore. It's about a dude protecting his kid. And I do love that about the Mandalorian. No, I still love that. I don't think like just having bounties. That would be more like a villain of the week type of thing if it's a bounty every episode. I think the way they did it was fine. He does still do a couple bounties if I remember. I mean, he for sure does. So on to episode 2, just to keep going until it kind of stops being that. So now he found Grogu, little baby Yoda. He is ambushed by 3 bounty hunters, so another ambush. Now he has the disintegrator, so he beats up 2 of them and disintegrates 1. That's a possible end encounter. Now Mando does get damaged in the fight and heals using a cauterizer item. Aha. I should actually put this in. And I mean that even that just shows that like there are consequences. There are repercussions to the things he's doing. And I do think health is just an easy way to express that. It's a human way to express that. We understand what that means. To be hurt in a situation. So Grogu tries to heal Mando, but Mando doesn't let him. But there could definitely be a pet with a healing ability. Another side mission is he returns and the Jawas tear up his ship. I don't think there's going to be anything like that where you can't take off the planet unless like there's a specific planet effect or that feels like a little too much. I don't know. Because then he has to do like another mission to fight the Mudhorn and then get the egg. Fantastic for a video game. I mean, just make the Mandalorian into a video game. Like, step by step. It just works, dude. It just works. As a board game, maybe not. Maybe not. Mando does get his stuff back. This is kind of more of a summary, because there's not really too much that can be transferred. Then they fly back to the hub world. Then we go on to episode 3, where he has a communicator thing on his ship. That doesn't really matter. They go back. He turns in Grogu. This is where the dude says your reputation was not unwarranted. Great line. Shows rep is needed for the mission. Turns out NPC gave the bounty to multiple players. So this kind of tells me, okay, I don't know if we should. Because the main bounties are public. But that's kind of the shared thing, where like everyone's going after these guys. And I think that's a fun thing. But I think missions should be personal. Where you got the mission, you're doing the mission. This scenario in Mandalorian is very specific. It's an extremely specific scenario where this is like, he's giving a lot of money for a very important thing he needs. So of course he would give that mission to a lot of people. And honestly, that basically kind of reflects like if it was just a poster and it would have the biggest bounty. It's kind of the same thing. Like for like, let's say Ditch Gang's leader. Like that would be one of the biggest, or Golden Boy, one of the biggest bounties, strongest ape in the galaxy, kind of thing. They have some lore for him, too. Okay. Yeah, gave the bounty to a bunch of players. Mando hands in the target and receives his reward of Beskar. Such a large bounty for such a small package kind of reminds me of Small Boy. It's kind of a funny parallel there. It's like we're probably pretty much inspired by this situation where it's like you don't expect this little thing. But like here, I mean, Yoda's kind of an innocent baby, or Grogu, while in our situation, Small Boy's like an actual fucking assassin revolutionary, but he just doesn't look very threatening. Still funny though. Then he goes back to upgrade his armor, which again, this reflects like going to the hub, putting in your bounty, doing the shop, getting your shit, then getting a new bounty. Then the bounty giver tells him to relax a bit, don't do too much, and then Mando says no, and then the giver says you hunters like to keep busy, and I think that reflects the game well. Where it's like you just keep doing your thing until you there's no time to relax. You're just doing your job until you're the best. That's the goal of the game. And he's shown 3 posters. One of them is a calamari nobleman's son with a high reward. Another little fun detail there of what someone could do. Octopath music. I just like getting to this point of the playlist, 1 hour in. And then this is where the gameplay loop ends, because Mando's about to fly out, do the bounty, come back, keep living his life as a bounty hunter, but he decides no. This kid is more important than the life I'm living right now. I mean, honestly, he got his Beskar armor. There's really not much more he could want, other than the jetpack, a second. Is it second season? Yeah, I think he gets his. No, I think he gets his jetpack in the finale of the first season. I mean, that's a great. Love that foreshadowing, or just love that motivation for the character. But yeah, so not much more you can do. So he's deciding like, you know what, I'm gonna save this boy, just like I was saved. Spoilers for Mandalorian. This orphan baby. So I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna try to do my own mission with it that isn't a bounty mission, basically. More of an escort mission, which is like what the Mandalorian is. And I mean, that's what I'm saying, like, that we could still get inspired moments from the show, because just side missions, escort missions, like, those are all things we could do that aren't bounties. But it's not like main gameplay loop type of stuff that really inspires me for the game. Everything I wrote down is like the main thing I would be focused on. And then, funny enough, Grogu's tracker reactivates, causing all the bounty hunters to go after him again, so it's basically like his poster and his backup. Alright. Now, the notes here, I mean, that's kind of the end of that. So, include effect-only items that heal the player if... So this is assuming we're introducing the health system. Like Grogu, some pets can heal player over turns or at once. Forced side missions also take stuff away from the player from the player or their ship, which they need to get back, add some flavor and annoyance to the adventure. Surely you could touch down, take a civilian encounter, and it shows you you've just been robbed. And it's like, you know, put your ship module, like flip over your ship module until you defeat this target or something. I don't know. I don't know how I don't know how to do that. I'll maybe try to do that. I don't know. Side missions could also possibly release a live capture or steal a dead body. Also possible. Could do that with mid-flight missions as well, now that I think about it. Those could be possibilities, but then that's the thing, is you need to write down these possibilities within the card, and if it doesn't fit like any scenario, it's just a random. It's just fucking complicated. There's going to be no damage to items or item degradation, which I think is important. Like, health is a fine system, but having damage to items causes another fucking headache. Because it's kind of like you're making money and then your money is disappearing. Because you're putting it into something and then it's... If it degrades, it's gone and they have to redo stuff. I don't know. I don't want to waste people's time with this game. And then I learned that cuirass is a word for only the breast and the back armor like put together. So it's no shoulder stuff. It's just like the breastplate, which is a part of his armor. It's cool. It's a cool word. And I mean, look, May 4th. That's just right now. Almost an hour and a half in. And I don't know how much more I want to do today. I'm going to think about it. But just quickly, before I go to the washroom, I looked up the previous notes about repercussions I had. And I mean, January, February, March, I've been thinking about this a lot. So, encounters should have repercussions for failed scenarios. Of course. January, of course. I already knew that. Get shot. Emergency travel. System center. Looted after losing. Lose money. So, we got two. We got a health system, possibly. Or simply traveling. Simply losing out on a kill. Or losing money. So this is not a health system specifically. But it is losing time. It is losing time. And I feel like this game might make you lose time a lot. And I don't know how much I like that aspect. You don't want to make it too snappy where like bang 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 shit's happening. But you also don't want to waste like 4 hours of someone's life. I don't know. I don't know. I immerse people in it. That's the thing. February 2nd, I wrote, are there repercussions for using violent methods instead of talking? Not that I know of. If you're using attack instead of speech. I mean, other than maybe killing instead of capturing. And there aren't, I don't know if there's violent methods specifically. And are there repercussions for failing a target encounter? Meaning you get hurt. Continue rolling until win or evade, or should each scenario have a fail state? And I think that's in March. I was already thinking about that, which is a good question as well. And now we're here. So a lot to think about. And I think the biggest issue is, after watching all that, and after all these notes, I'm realizing there's a lot I could put in. There's a lot I could stuff into this turkey, make it juicier. But is that necessary? Will that make it more fun? And I need to remember that that's the core, is the fun. What makes this game fun? Will a health system make it more immersive? Will it make it more interesting? I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. I think I could turn this off. I don't think I need this. I don't think I added anything. Let me see. I guess I moved around this. Question is, do I talk with Copper about this first? I think I should. I think I should talk with Copper first before I start editing stuff and like moving stuff, or even just think about it myself a little bit more. All right. Here we have the previous setup for the encounters. This needs to change. It's not horrible. Not the best. So first I'm gonna take a piss, be right back, and then I guess I will think about this, talk through it, see how far I get. Yep. Honestly, at this point, I think I'm just gonna do it on Photoshop. I think that's a way smarter thing. I already have light. Okay. Plan is, what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to extract these shapes so that I can use them throughout if I need to. I'll do like the blocking for the card. And just generally test stuff. And then I like the colors of the grays, so I'm gonna use that. That looks. Let's put on a video. APOG. Video time. VR shit, as always.
If you had $8,000, how would you spend it? Maybe a motorcycle or a car or 27 Oculus Quest 2s or this. This is the most expensive VR headset in the world, at least that you can buy. And it's jam-packed with some crazy features and we're taking a look at it. But there's more to this than meets the eye because somehow this $8,000 headset just might save the US government hundreds of millions. Let's get right into it.
New jingle? What that won't get me copyrighted.
Welcome to Virtually Odd, the place where I look at weird VR equipment or technology, whether it's
Cool.
from the past or the future. And fact is, the virtual reality industry has spawned some of the craziest tech I have ever seen. From brain-computer interfaces to laser technology, AR and VR bring something very special to the plate. And today's odd equipment is none other than the fabled XTAL 8K by VRgineers, or Virgineers. Enough stupid jokes, let me give a quick intro on this headset because it deserves it. This is the XTAL. On paper, this headset is an absolute beast. Packing a completely ridiculous resolution of 7680 by 2160, it's not true 8K like the name suggests, but it is true native 4K resolution per eye. Not only that, but the XTAL rocks a 180-degree field of view, shattering pretty much every headset out there besides a Pimax or maybe a Star VR 1. But it doesn't stop there. On board, this headset also has eye tracking, built-in foveated rendering support, ultra leap motion hand tracking and finger tracking, and automatically adjusting IPD, meaning you never have to guess what your IPD is again. Using the eye tracking module and built-in servos, with a click of a button, the XTAL automatically adjusts the lens's IPD settings to exactly where my pupils are, measured by the cameras that are already looking at my eyes. It's genius. Starting the calibration, you hear the servos going off and you see the lens is moving right into focus in front of your eyes. As someone that's used to doing this whole motion on VR headsets, it makes me smile. And with this clip-on cradle, you
Wait, what is that?
adjust the lens's IPD settings to exactly where my pupils are, measured by the cameras that are already looking at my eyes. It's genius. Starting the calibration, you hear the servos going off and you see the lens is moving right into focus in front of your eyes. As someone that's used to doing this whole motion on VR headsets, it makes me smile. And with this clip-on cradle you see on my unit, the headset is also fully Steam VR compatible, so I can use base stations for tracking and you can play any game that you can play on any other headset. And that's where the XTAL gets confusing. So of course, what's one of the first things I do with an $8,000 VR headset that I have on loan? The only right thing, of course. Meet up with my friends and party a little in VR chat with some good old Population 1 for dessert. If you thought a Valve Index and full body tracking was a flex in VR chat, try pulling up to the Void Club with one of these puppies on. But that's actually just the thing. Yeah, the headset looks really nice from the inside. Actually, one of the clearest VR headsets with the widest field of view I've ever used. It's like having Reverb G2 clarity, just way wider FOV, and you don't have the distortion of a Pimax headset. But do I really want to do a handstand or take shots with the Lamborghini of VR headsets on? No. No. Do I even really want to wear something on my face for 6 or 7 hours that weighs this much and is this huge? And that's something I haven't really talked about because I didn't think it would be that big of a deal, but unintended, the big nature of this headset is a big deal. I found while playing pretty hardcore that the XTAL isn't good for jumping around and being super active in VR. I've worn heavy headsets. Shoot, the Valve Index isn't light and that's what I use all the time, and I'm used to big headsets as well. Pimax headsets are always pretty large, making even the Index look small, and makes the Quest 2 look like a mini headset. But the XTAL is in a league of its own entirely. I can fit almost 2 Quest 2s inside of the XTAL. And the problem of size becomes more of an issue because of where the weight is distributed. For the XTAL, it's over my face and to the sides. It's not uncomfortable, but it's also not as comfortable as I'm used to. And playing some of my favorite VR games like Boneworks shows a pretty decent flaw in using the XTAL as a typical consumer VR headset. It's bulky, I'm moving around a lot, ducking, crouching, punching, doing typical VR stuff, and it doesn't feel great. Population 1 doesn't feel much better either. Climbing and jerky movements tend to move around the front of the headset ever so slightly, so these custom non-Fresnel pancake lenses make what I'm looking at a little blurry. It's not terrible, and it's only while I'm moving around like crazy, but it's blurrier than what I'm used to, which kinda sucks. It feels like I'm wasting all of those extra pixels I'm rendering. Plus, if you want to run the headset at its native resolution, you're stuck at 75 Hz. Ouch. Yeah, it is capable of 120 Hz, but that requires dropping the resolution all the way down to 2560 by 1440. But of course, that's assuming you even have the specs to run an XTAL. If you can afford this, I can also assume you can afford any graphics card out there, but you'll need at least a 2080 Ti or 3090 or even a Quadro GPU to really use the XTAL. Maybe a 2080 at the least, but there's something kind of worse. It's the biggest offender of this entire headset, at least for a consumer. This is a, once again, $8,000 VR headset. And you want to know what it doesn't have? Well, it does have eye tracking, crazy displays, expandability, but it doesn't have any headphones. The XTAL 8K has no built-in audio at all. Instead, you get a headphone jack. No head strap audio or anything else though, which I would understand if I could fit my headphones over the XTAL's head strap, but I can't. So with this headset that costs almost as much as 6 months rent, I'm using $15 earbuds because that's all that I have that fits. It's ironic, because as long as I'm not running around shaking the headset on my head, I get the absolute best visual experience I have ever gotten with a VR headset on, yet the other half of the immersion equation, that being audio, is just missing. So the XTAL at this point maybe seems like an overpriced, impractical, feature overstuffed VR headset with no clear user in mind, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Yeah, to be honest, I think it sucks for playing Population 1 and Boneworks, and I can't be nearly as nimble with this thing on. And no, I don't want to do cartwheels in VR chat with this monster on my face. But wait, that's not what this is for. The XTAL wasn't designed for this. It was designed for this. And everything begins to make way more sense, from the cost to the features, its implementation, and its story. The puzzle pieces come together, and this is what truly makes the XTAL an odd piece of hardware. Of course, you can play any game you want with an XTAL, but just like how I wouldn't take a Formula 1 car as my daily driver to the mall, I wouldn't use an XTAL to play casual games. At least not all the time. This is a headset designed for 3 primary purposes, automotive design being one, and it's doing well at that. This automotive demo provided by XTAL is absolutely earth-shattering, but the real money lies here. Every month, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Department of Defense contracts are signed as the DoD finds companies to fulfill tasks. Now, whether that's $200 billion on new missiles or a few million on VR headsets for flight simulators, DoD money is a stream of cash that seemingly never stops flowing. And to be fair, it's the reason why the XTAL is the way it is. VR engineers have worked directly with the United States Air Force and Navy to develop the XTAL and its accompanying motion simulator. Every feature on the XTAL is there for a reason, and it makes it the best out there for simulating being in a cockpit, or to introduce better training with virtual environments, as it's being used by NASA for just that. But the real reason this headset costs an astonishing $8,000, almost the cost of 27 Oculus Quest 2s, likely isn't because this thing actually costs $8,000 to manufacture, but because it's the only headset in the world that has all of these features in one package. But more importantly, because that's how much the DoD was likely willing to spend. And you may pull back and say, that's ridiculous. This is where my tax dollars are going, is towards an $8,000 headset, but I have something that might blow your mind. On average, it takes about $10 million to train an F-22 pilot from basic training to a qualified pilot. $10 million. That's for the support, training, equipment, and of course, flight time. Every hour an F-22 is in the air is about $60,000 down the drain, according to most sources. And that's just from operational costs. Not to mention, this is training we're talking about, and trainees make mistakes, and mistakes get very expensive when the plane you're flying costs $150 million. So, realistic flight simulators are incredibly important to the military. Unlike flying the real thing, being in a simulator doesn't burn any fuel. And if there are serious issues during a flight, respawning in VR is a little easier than real life. And it doesn't stop there. This is the DMT, a flight simulator built for the F-35 by Lockheed Martin, and supposedly it's one of the most advanced simulators out there. And guess what? It costs as much as $9 million per simulator. And look at that, compare that to VR. Now, I think we're starting to see the real value in the XTAL, a headset that has a complete feature set no other headset has, one that was built for the purpose of training, simulation, and engineering in mind. Ironically, the ridiculous price poses some major price cuts for the military. A device that any VR enthusiast sees and cringes at regarding the price is actually a bargain, especially considering the non-VR alternatives. And that's the truly weird part of this headset. It's a device of the future, stuck with the politics of the past, built to serve a purpose that few have but still needs to be fulfilled. Yeah, it's true. I personally did not like using this headset to play standard games. It's more of a pain than anything. I would rather use my standard consumer headsets that I have lying around because, well, that's what they're made for. But when I hop into a virtual cockpit, everything becomes clear, literally and metaphorically. This is the clearest wide FOV headset I have ever used, as long as you aren't literally jumping around. Compared to a Pimax, there's very little, if any, lens distortion around the outside of the lenses. The bulk doesn't matter as much either, as I'm just sitting down. And as I'm transported into a virtual cockpit, I can see why this headset is picked over every other one by the Navy and Air Force, and NASA and Audi and everyone else. It all becomes clear, and to be fair, features that are on this headset will likely eventually trickle into our everyday headsets. Who knows, the Quest 3 might have everything this headset has for, 5% of the cost. Eye tracking, foveated rendering, and hand tracking are already finding their way into more and more headsets as is. And display and lens technology is getting cheaper and better as VR grows and the demand offsets the R&D costs. But that doesn't stop the Xtal 8K from being truly odd. It's a weird headset, and this is how the most expensive VR headset in the world actually ends up saving a lot of money, a lot of taxpayers' money. Whether it's the Navy using the Xtal for better and cheaper flight simulators, or automotive designers creating the cars of the future, the difference between a Quest 2 and an Xtal 8K may be $8,000, but the real difference comes from the quality of cheaper training and the engineer's experience, which, ask any engineer, it's priceless. And that's why the Xtal 8K is odd. Virtually odd. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Virtually Odd is back, and if you want more Virtually Odds, then make sure to share this video and give it a nice little thumbs up. It honestly helps me out immensely. I will be streaming on Twitch with this headset today after this video, so if you want to stop by and say what's up, then come on by. Also, if you're looking for like-minded VR enthusiasts to become friends with, then you should come over and join my Discord server. It's always a good time. I want to thank Virgineers for lending me this headset for a few months, and to my Patreon supporters, especially my Omegas like Atomali, Benji, Biz, CPCJ79, Destroyer Biscuit, Burtrap, Fusion Oak, HCG Randon, I'm Naku, It's Lumi VR, John, KR, Lucid VR, Mud King, Ridbo, Ronzarelli, Skirt Cobain, That Brock Guy, Very Evil Shadow, and Zale. I couldn't do any of this without you. Don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it. Much love, real out.
Nice. Good video. We got some, ooh, when is E3? When is E3 this year? Because they are actually doing it. Hearing some pretty cool rumors. We have a date. No date. June 12th? Should have seen that? June 12th? Okay. That's in a month. Cool. Definitely can't wait for Starfield news. Space game made by Bethesda. I don't know what to expect, but I feel like I should expect something. Okay. I should mark that. Oh.
Is what I like to see. Hello, my
Yeah, let's watch
wondrous,
Arlo.
wonderful,
20 minutes? Sure.
wacky friends. time for another edition of the Nintendo News Roundup. Please join me as we look at the news. Thank you. Thank you. This is a Nintendo News Roundup breaking news flash that is being inserted into the beginning of what we already recorded for this episode. Usually if like big news breaks after I record, I just wait till the following week. But this is too juicy, too hot. This is spicy right here. Sometime back, various video game characters such as Master Chief and Kratos were getting into Fortnite. And Fortnite was doing a whole like bounty hunter thing, so lots of people were speculating that Samus could come to Fortnite. Nothing really came of that, but we've got a sort of a new development here. Some internal documents from Epic Games have been leaked, and this time we actually know who the leaker is. The US justice system. Because in the court case, Epic Games versus Apple, it's a whole thing. Some internal documents have been made public as like a part of the case. And within these documents, we can see concept arts for some characters that have already come to Fortnite, along with some that have not. One of those is obviously Samus. Pretty cool art too. And obviously this is not confirmation because for all we know, this was the artists just drawing out their wish list, like who they want. And then from there, they had to contact the various companies. And, you know, it could be that Sony said yes, Microsoft said yes, Nintendo said no. Or it could be that this is basically a roadmap. It could very well be that Samus is definitely coming to Fortnite and it's only a matter of time. We really don't know at this point. And if this ends up being more of a thing, I don't know, I might still make an entire video. I'm not, like, the concept is so interesting that would make for a fun video, even if it doesn't, if it doesn't end up happening. Basically what I'll say though is, like, yeah, do it. So I see so many people being like, no, Fortnite bad, don't let's, dude, do you know how many people play Fortnite? Metroid struggles so hard. This would be the best thing to happen to Metroid in forever.
Rude,
I
dude.
wholeheartedly support it. I completely hope that it does happen. It would be incredible. I don't play Fortnite. I don't care. Put Samus in there. Anyway, like I said, might talk about that more later. On with the episode, with the awkward intro that is now no longer an intro, but oh well, there you go. Nintendo recently gave us a demo for the upcoming Miitopia port, and apparently this demo includes the Mii Maker. And I didn't know this. I didn't know this until people started sending stuff to me. Apparently what they have done, they've blown the lid off of the Mii Maker.
Oh, yeah, I've seen stuff about this, but like I didn't dig deep into it.
Coming Miitopia port, and apparently this demo includes the Mii Maker. And I didn't know this. I didn't
You
know
can do
this
some
until
crazy shit with it.
people started sending stuff to me.
Holy shit.
Apparently what they have done,
That's actually crazy, dude. Can you just draw
they've
shapes
blown the
now?
lid off of the Mii Maker.
I'm so confused now, like how people did it.
Just like what you can do. I kind of thought they always wanted it to be fairly limited,
Look at this Ed, Ed and Eddie, dude. How even?
but whatever the case,
How? I need to
now
look
it
into
is
this.
not. People are able to create things they were not able to create before, and
I mean, these are
I've seen
awesome.
a lot
How? How the fuck did you
of,
make
very
Steve?
good Arlos. You are seeing a whole bunch of them here. They're very, very lovely. I really appreciate it. I am very excited to see the future of Miis, even though Miis are like a thing that are like kind of a thing still, but kind of not, and Nintendo doesn't really support them a lot, but then you get little stuff like this, and I don't really understand it. It's like, if you're gonna do Miis, just do the Miis. I don't know. I don't actually know why we're getting the Miitopia. I mean, it's cool. It's just kind of surprising. Nintendo doesn't seem to be doing the Mii thing anymore. Whatever. Moving on. Big news story. Nintendo just randomly decided to drop a free update for Super Mario Party, adding pretty considerable online support, the ability to play basically any minigame online, play the traditional, like, regular boards online. Very cool, but I won't go into it too much because I did a whole video on it. But basically, very unexpected, but cool, but weird. But cool, but neat, but weird. I know in the past Nintendo has said that they may face more Switch shortages because of lack of parts. But apparently their plans are to ramp up Switch production considerably. Nikkei reports that Nintendo is planning on, on delivering 30 million Switch units in this fiscal year. That number seems to be assuming completely that the momentum will carry. I don't know if it will or not. It very well might. But that seems to be Nintendo's plan. Nikkei also just throws another one in there that, yeah, they're going to do a new Switch. They're going to do some sort of revision with, just better hardware for better image quality and all that. So just yet another source. I mean, they've probably reported on that before, but they're at least doubling down on it that we're getting a new Switch and Nintendo's going to make a whole bunch of Switches this year. Pokemon Snap just launched. I'm having a heck of a lot of fun with it. A full review coming hopefully soon. And in an interview, director Haruki Suzaki claims that this was not actually the first attempt to revitalize the Pokemon Snap series. Didn't go into a lot of specifics, but basically just says that there have been multiple attempts over the years to kind of try to bring it back. I suppose it's one of those things where the stars just had to align, just had to get the right people and the right team wanting to do it enough, and they said the Switch was just a perfect opportunity, so that's cool. Speaking of Pocket Mans, we've gotten our first taste of the latest Pokemon TCG set. It drops in Japan next month. It is called Eevee Heroes, and it features all the different evolutions, which I think is just fun. That is great. I love evolutions. That's fun. Pokemon Company has also revealed the Pokemon Grassy Gardening Collection. This is unfortunately Japan only at the moment, but I'm definitely hoping some stuff makes it over here because it's really cute. It's all just like gardening stuff, just like little like grass type Pokemon and like little planters and stuff. It's adorable. Super adorable. I love it. I love gardening. I love planty stuff. And I like Pokemon, They're also releasing a new Yamper plushie that has a little Joltik stuck on his bum. So that's a thing. Apparently it's got the pull string, so like it wiggles or whatever when you pull it. A little strange, not gonna lie, but it's pretty cute, I think. Maybe. Dogs get ticks. That's the thing. It's a thing. A few years ago, Pokemon Company created a special Ishihara card for distribution exclusively within the company, and someone just sold one of those cards, signed by him, the man himself, for $247,000. It's really weird. I mean, like, okay, one, this is a guaranteed way to make sure the Pokemon Company never does this again. You're making a special thing just for your employees if they're gonna end up auctioning it off. I'm really surprised. I mean, like, Pokemon cards must really be a thing. Just like, it doesn't matter what they do. If it's rare and it's a Pokemon card, that's so much money. That's as much as some of these other super rare cards. And it was just some little thing that in 2017, the Pokemon Company threw together and gave to their employees. Like, it's that easy for them. All they have to do, like if they want to like fund their next entire game, they could just be like, okay, here's a special card. Throw it together in Photoshop. Take a couple hours. We're only printing 100 of them. And then just auction them. Don't even sell them. Don't give them away. Just auction. Just straight to auction. They'll make millions of dollars. They'll make tens of millions of dollars. They can fund an entire Pokemon game just on that. Anyway, I could go on. Golly, the Pokemon cards. People like them. A while back, we had stories about Pokemon Happy Meals. The special cards were in the Happy Meals, and obviously, because of the whole card thing, people were buying up all the cards before they could even hit the stores or whatever. Well, it's all coming to the UK now, and McDonald's has promised that they're going to try to limit distribution of these special cards. Apparently, I didn't know this was an option at all. You can like buy the toys if you buy the meal. You can buy them separately. Didn't know that was a thing. But apparently they're gonna limit it to one additional purchase per meal, and then you have to purchase the meal overall. You can't just purchase the card. I don't know what that's gonna do to help, like in the cases where the employees were just selling off the boxes, or I don't really know, or what's stopping a person from just buying a bunch of Happy Meals, but at least they're aware of it. At least they're aware of the fact that it's hard to get the Pokemon stuff in the Happy Meals because everyone buys them. Little Animal Crossing news, the May update is coming, and it's, it's the same as last time. It's like May Day, and Museum Day, and the fishing, and the bug tournament, and all that. So I don't know, I guess I don't even have to say anything about it. It's like, it's kind of boring at this point. I kind of want to make a video about how it's just like, really? This is what you're doing with Animal Crossing, your game that sold 30 million units in like 4 seconds. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's the stuff from last year, except like a little different. Okay, and speaking of Animal Crossing, and in a promotional image that the Animal Crossing account shared, there was a weird house. People noticed that there was a house that is not available in the game. People wondered if this meant that new villagers were coming with new houses, but apparently, according to official sources, this was just an error, which is weird, though, because they have it in the game, and, like, I don't doubt that they have a version of the game running where they can, you know, make the 4K photos and all that stuff, and they can do whatever they want, but it's still weird that they have that different house in there. I don't know if it's just like dev tools or scrapped content or what. So maybe they're lying. Maybe they're lying. Maybe they're saying it was an error, but there is going to be a new village. I don't know. Probably not. Probably was just like whatever. They just got a bunch of assets and they throw them together for these things. But anyway, that was kind of funny. Official figures have come in. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity has now shipped 3.7 million units. Not great. I gotta say, not great. And that's only shipped, I mean, like, you know, digital. The total sales are probably okay. It's more the problem that most first-party Nintendo games, or second-party, you know what I mean, they end up having legs. They got good legs. And this game has just stopped. It sold a good few million, highest selling Warriors game ever, and then it just dropped off a cliff. I don't know what's going on. I hope it gets some legs, or I do see a lot of people, like I just released my review half a year late. A lot of people are saying they're waiting for like a Switch Pro or something because they don't want the frame rate issues. Maybe that's stopping a lot of people. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. In a very different story, Monster Hunter Rise has now sold over 6 million units and counting. This game definitely has legs. They're still releasing content and all that stuff, so that's still incredible. And as Nintendo Life points out, that makes it almost very close to being the #1 best-selling single-platform game that Capcom has made. You know, a game for one platform. It's going to come to PC next year or something, so that won't be true forever, but that's still really, really impressive. 6 million units already, probably enough to pay for the development of the game several times over, making tons and tons of money, especially now that the update introduced like cosmetic stuff you can buy. Yeah, they're happy right now. They're real happy, and I'm still playing it. Still playing it, still enjoying it. According to Twitter user Luigi Blood, it seems that Famicom Detective Club has leaked, as most first-party Nintendo games seem to do these days. It is leaked online, so I don't know, beware of spoilers. I'm not seeing any other confirmation anywhere other than just right here, this person right here, that it's leaked, but I have no reason to doubt it. I don't know, they all get leaked. This is not strictly Nintendo news, but it's so interesting, I gotta say it, but it kind of is. Tetris, okay, like professional competitive Tetris. They use the NES version. That's just like across the board what they prefer to use. And this is amazing because this applies to anything. How many times have you played a game and you're trying to figure out the best way to just tap a button real fast? You know, a mini game or something. And recently, most people use hyper tapping, especially in the competitive scene, where you just wiggling your fingers super duper fast. Really hard to do, really tough on the fingers. But even now, in the year 2021, people have discovered a faster way to tap a button on a controller. This is incredible, and it's revolutionizing the Tetris scene. It's called rolling, so instead of tapping the button, you're using your fingers to drum on the back of the controller to touch the button, to like press it into your thumb, to press it.
How does this look? As a general template. So I'm thinking like rewards would be on the green, repercussions on the red, consequences. But also you don't need I just realized you don't need consequence. Civilian encounter. Okay. And then I'll do same.
button. Super interesting. This channel, A Game Scout, has made a really great comprehensive video about it. Super interesting. Go check it out. I just thought that was interesting. Like, all of this time later, competitive Tetris. And, of course, it's going to spill out into other things, too. Just still going. Still going. I got a friend who's like super duper into competitive Tetris. He's probably losing his mind right now. It has been too long since we've gotten a new doctor, since a medical degree has been given to a Mario character. The latest one is Dr. Petey Piranha. Introducing Dr. Petey Piranha, everybody. Give him a hand. I love it. So apparently, back in the day, back in the Wii glory days, THQ, the company, created a 24-karat gold-plated Wii and gave it to the Queen Elizabeth. And apparently she didn't really care, and somehow it ended up in the hands of somebody else. They're selling it for $300,000. So if you want a gold-plated Wii that may or may not have been played by the Queen, $300,000. It's yours for the low price, $300,000. Video games are weird. So recently, was it last week or the week before that? We talked about how Monolith Soft has been growing very steadily. Well, apparently, according to their website, they have 40 jobs on offer. They are growing substantially more. They're really going. And it seems like I still have not been able to find if it's 100% confirmed, but it seems pretty darn likely, especially based on these job listings, that they are indeed helping Nintendo with Breath of the Wild 2. I mean, why would they not be? They helped with the first one. And so now they're hiring 40 more people. They're obviously working on a bunch of other stuff, at least one big project, maybe even multiple, just based on how much they've been growing. Very cool, very awesome, love it. I love this. I love how Nintendo bought Next Level Games. They're getting studios, they're growing the studios. That is what I like to see. Yes! In what is probably the just awesomest story of the week. Okay, you just living your life. You're eating a sandwich. I don't know. You're putting your pants on. Whatever. Terry Crews, localize Mother 3. He tweets, localize Mother 3. Terry Crews. You know, that guy, Terry Crews. Awesome guy. He's so cool. I've read a lot about him. He's one of the coolest guys in the entire world. And you know what? He's even cooler now because he wants Nintendo localize Mother 3. I don't know why. I don't know what prompted it. Is he just a genuine fan and he just got it in his head? I don't know. But it's so cool. Listen to the man, Nintendo. You don't say no to Terry Crews. In an interview, Nintendo President Furukawa mentioned the idea of continuing with other animations even beyond the Mario movie. He says, animation in general is something that we are looking into and not just this franchise. This is a topic I've been meaning to make a whole video about. I gotta really soon. I've got to. Because it was like last year or something that Nintendo made a statement saying, like, we're gonna make more shows. Like, they literally just said, we are gonna dip into, like, animation and other stuff. This is just another little piece of that. And I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. I feel like it's a really big discussion and a really big thing that they would say that. And yet we just haven't really, I don't know, maybe because we haven't seen the fruits of that yet. So it's a little harder to speculate. But yeah. I gotta make a video about that. I mean, that's amazing. We are going to start seeing more stuff. There's a Mario movie coming out. We're gonna see other stuff too. Like, that's incredible. What other franchises? Who knows? What are they gonna make? I don't know, but it sounds like for a good video. Now we got some fun fan stuff. The YouTube channel Nintendo Wire has apparently made multiple fun little like concept videos for demakes, you know, taking a modern game and seeing how it would look as an older game on older hardware. And recently, they did Pokemon Snap. What would Pokemon Snap look like on the Game Boy Color? This is particularly interesting because it's, I feel like mechanically, they've even like nailed that down too. Like you look at this video and you see it and you're like, that's the gameplay. That's it right there. They basically created the game. Like it just feels so genuine. I could easily imagine playing it. It's not just like a little, I don't know, it's not just a simple mock-up of like, look, it's that happening, it's that cutscene, but with pixel graphics. No, like, this is how it would legitimately be, playing on a Game Boy Color, and I love it. Another YouTuber, Densley something, has created an Animal Crossing short. This person has also made multiple of these, and of course I don't hear about them until Nintendo Life tells me, but others told me about this one. The latest short is kind of exploring the whole concept of auctioning off villagers to other players. It's fun. Give it a watch. They've got some other shorts too, which are all very good. One Pokemon fan has completed their quest to obtain every shiny ever. Every single shiny Pokemon. They did it.
Nice.
They did it. What else do you do after that?
Nice,
What else
dude.
even is there to do? Train them all up, perfect EVs, level 100 or something? I don't know, but that's pretty cool. Once again, I was not aware of this until Nintendo Life did a feature on it. Love you, Nintendo Life. You're listening. I love you. You're awesome. I'm sorry. Scrupulous Fingor is a character that a Twitter account called Cut and Obscure Video Game Content has created, and this is actually, I followed this account. It's a great account, just like saying like, oh, like unused stuff in games, but it's all fake. I love that kind of humor. I love it so much. I always want to do it. I always want to do that kind of thing, but I never get around to it. They've created a character that they insist is in New Super Mario Brothers called Scrupulous Fingor. Other people have gotten in on it and have made a whole bunch of different mock-ups about different games that Scrupulous Fingor has been from. This isn't even news. It's not even like one fan project I'm reporting on. I just thought it was funny, so I'm saying it now because I just think it's funny. Look at him. I love it. And if we don't get at least a Scrupulous Fingor spirit in Smash, I'm gonna be pretty upset. And finally, I was not aware of this, but apparently, cause like, you know, there's a bunch of different Paper Mario likes, you know, that have been coming out. I've been taking a look at a lot of them. It's another one I've been considering making a video on, just kind of exploring all the different ones. Some notable ones coming out. Apparently, they are all part of a community called Paperverse, which is awesome, and they recently did a Paperverse Direct, just kind of like showcasing trailers for all of these different games that are all like more or less inspired by Paper Mario, and that's really, really cool. The Direct ends with probably the most notable upcoming project called Born of Bread. I posted about this on Twitter sometime back, and it's looking incredible. It's looking absolutely
That's
incredible.
adorable.
Super charming, super awesome art style, just so polished and good. Anyway, apparently there's a demo. There's an actual demo. I gotta play this of Born of Bread. Go check it out. As always, there's links to all this stuff.
Yeah,
down
give
in
me
the
the link.
description. I
Give me
got
the
link to
link,
Paperverse Direct,
bro.
all that stuff. Check it out. Born of Bread. Thank you. That's it. That's it. We're done. We're done with the Nintendo News Roundup for this
Give me
week.
that.
Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Go on down in the comments and give me a prime number. Give me your favorite prime number. I'm one of those math junkies.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
I want to watch
love-
this.
I
I
love
wanna see
math.
this.
I don't kind of hate math, but give me a prime number anyway. See you later.
Peace, Arlo. I want to see this direct, dude, of all these games. Oh, yeah. Alright, I'm thinking of just remaking what I have here on here with the new template. I want to see how it would turn out. Yeah. Alright, so here is like civilian encounter. You get stuff. You don't really get stuff taken away. Maybe I shouldn't do this card. Maybe there's a different... Maybe I should just pull one from... I have all of them here. Yeah, let's do one of these. So let's do scavenger.
Hiya!
Why you?
Thank you for joining us in today's Paper Games Direct, brought to you by the Paperverse community. My name's Pepper,
It's
and I'll
fucking
be your
Pepper.
host tonight.
Oh shit. Not my
Today.
pepper though.
whatever time it is for you, dear viewer. Regardless of time zone,
Yes, it is, Pepper.
don't go anywhere. I know I'll be stationary for this direct. I'm here to show you the latest in paper games. What is a paper game? Paper games are games that, in one way or another, take inspiration from Mario RPGs. Just like those series of games, there are a huge variety of styles and ideas to be found in this presentation. These games could be about a lone hero, or a couple of stars adventuring together. They could be a wacky tale with some dark moments, or maybe the other way around. They could be turn-based RPGs. They could be platformers, maybe even FPSs. Well, probably not that last one. I don't think anybody's made a folding paper sim just yet. My point being, paper games can take many forms, like paper. The first games I have to share all have an expressive, paper-themed visual style and prominently show off their Paper Mario roots. Enjoy this lineup of paper games. Oh, and if you see a game you like, make sure to check out the description. Each game is linked there.
Nice.
Go on and give them your support. A colorless duo become colorful heroes.
Interesting. Dog. You can play as dog.
Two twins, one large adventure. save Atlantis in an undersea odyssey. Hi again! It's your favorite paper-themed community mascot, Pepper. I mean, there aren't any other paper mascots, right? Do you know any others? Can I meet
Maybe
them?
I'll actually change it to. 'Cause there's something I don't.
Anyways, what do you think of those papery-looking paper games? I think they're so great! I love papery-looking games. No bias. But I don't judge a paper game just by the way it looks. You don't judge books by their covers, right? Paper games don't have to look like they're made of paper. They have common mechanics, from action commands, exploration, and maybe even platforming. I bet you'll agree after seeing this next set of games that these titles don't need to look like paper to play like paper. Out of the shadows comes...
Fucking Hollow Knight, dude. Ooh. Weepy.
I hope you like your coffee like you like your cats. Life isn't always like it seems.
Dude.
Your inner demons are calling.
Fuck, which font is it?
You've overcome many challenges, outwitted powerful foes in battle. You found new love and gathered enough strength to fight your inner demons. But you're still wondering whether all of this has been real or just a never-ending nightmare. Keep building your gimmicky tools and cling to your so-called friends. It just delays the inevitable.
This is edgy as fuck, dude.
Embrace the great night and become one of us. We are waiting.
Oh, which fucking font is it? Jesus Christ.
Well, Johanna,
Bro.
What a great selection of games! I can't wait to play all of them. Ahem. Moving on, the next batch of paper games is really something. You've seen games that look like paper and games that play like paper. So what if I said we had paper games that do neither? Huh? What? How does that work? Well, that's easy. You just gotta think outside the box. No, seriously, take a box for example. A cardboard box. Cardboard is just another kind of paper. It might look and feel different from regular paper, but it comes from the same place. These upcoming paper games work the same way. They're members of the Paperverse who draw inspiration from traditional paper games to try something new. Enjoy these paper games that think outside the box. A journey for a long lost brother. Winners don't play nice. They get gooed. A star rises over a land full of adventure.
Oh, this is actually super cute. I totally missed the both of these.
These paper games.
Cute. I like the art style. The enemies look great. Kid Hoppo. Cute. Nice sprites. Nice.
It really is amazing what these creators can think up with just a shred of papery inspiration. Who knows how far paper games will go in the future? Or just how many more will pop up? I think I see a few other paper games on the horizon. It's a good thing I got them on pay-per-view. Wink! Let's see what else I can get a sneak peek of in this sizzle reel of paper games.
Ooh.
That almost wraps things up on today's Direct. But before I go, I've got one more thing for you. It may be last, but it's certainly not yeast. Hold on. That wasn't even a paper pun. Who's the Rise guy that came up with that line? Ah, more half-baked wordplay? Focus, Pepper. Whether it's paper or some baked goods, we'll just cut right to it. Our final announcement. Be the hero this land needs.
Yeah, this looks fantastic.
Be right to it. This land needs.
So clean. UI is pretty clean too. Oh, good lighting. The lighting does so much. And that looks great. Love the mixing of aesthetics. How many gradients? Fuck. Gradients do so much.
What? No smash? Oh, is it my line? Ahem. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you found plenty of exciting new games to look forward to. Be sure to follow all of them on their respective social media. And follow Paperverse itself to see what our growing community of developers is up to. Don't worry, we have links to everyone involved in the video description. Once again, I'm Pepper of Paperverse. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Add that to the wish list. In development still, understandable. Nice little, like that. Should we listen to the rumor?
Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. I hope all of you are doing absolutely fantastic. Today, we get into some Xbox news and, of course, everyone's favorite, rumors. So, we have emails from Phil Spencer himself, head of Xbox, talking about the likes of bringing xCloud to other consoles. On top of that, some contradictions within these emails that have been released through Epic and Apple's court case. On top of that, we're talking exclusive Star Wars games for Xbox, and last but certainly not least is the amount of FPS boost coming to Xbox, where Boost just got boosted. Now, for those of you who were a part of Mr. Maddie Plays 2.0's launch yesterday, first of all, I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. Your love, your generosity, your support, your excitement is what really means the world to me. So thank you all so much for that. If you missed any of the stuff we did yesterday, from the trailer to the Life and Death of Sly Cooper, please, I beg you, give it a chance and try it out. I really am proud of that work there. And for those of you who are looking for the likes of Humanity's Worst Games as well as RPG Time Machine, this is sort of a testament to what I plan on doing for the future of the channel. As promised, news, discussions, reviews, those will always come first with original content that's going to supplement that. So those videos are all ready to go. They're uploaded. They're scheduled on the channel. They're ready to rock and roll. But right now, I wanted to talk about Xbox news because a lot of things came out on the same day that I was really excited about. So let's start off with that court case. Like I said, Epic and Apple are engaged in a legal battle of the gods. It's insane, okay? Because they're actually making a court case entertaining, and that is because they're spilling every bit of tea possible. Anyone who sent Tim Sweeney an email in the last 3 years is probably sweating bullets as we speak, because he's showing everything off. We're seeing the financial dealings, like Epic is paying to get games on the Epic Game Store for $50,000.
Oh, this is super interesting. Buyout price $1 million? Is that a milli?
In the last 3 years is probably sweating bullets as we speak, because he's showing everything off. We're seeing the financial dealings, like Epic is paying to get games on the Epic Game Store from $50,000 to well over $1 million. I mean, they are sinking tons of money into that store.
Whoa, dude. $1 million for Subnautica? Epic UA cost. New to Epic percent. New Epic account. So how many people it brought in? Damn, Subnautica brought in almost 1 million people. That's crazy. Batman Arkham, 10%? Are these all the free games they've been putting out each? Oh, damn, that's interesting. So I'm guessing these are, either these are the free games or this is just to the store in general, like announcement? How are they calculating this? Is it like they announce, oh, Subnautica is now on Epic? Okay, I'm trying to think, what's something that was Epic first? Is there anything Epic first that 2019? Damn, Subnautica, a lot of fucking... So I wonder now, calculating this, what is like the best earner compared to how much they paid for it? That'd be some good shit to stat out. 1 million for Mutant Year Zero. Weird. 7% though. Then another 7%. So okay, so we can calculate it like this. Okay, so the biggest is 17 with 800,000 for over 1 million. Then we have the 10% here for Batman Arkham. And I think that's all of them, the whole Arkham franchise. That's 1.5 million. So that actually made less, paid more, made less than 8% for Edith Finch, paid way less. And of course this is over time. So they've been making calculated risks, you could say. Even though Mutant Year 0 million, only 7%. What did they pay law for that didn't do shit? That'd be a funny stat. 500k for Slime Rancher, also 7%. Which isn't bad. 300k for Stories Untold, 4%. 700 for Enter the Gungeon, 4%. 800k for Inside, 3%. That kind of feels like a waste. What's the 1% ones? Everything makes sense. Lego Batman, 1%. And is Nye, 1%. That's right. Damn. And I mean, other than Batman Arkham, they kind of have been hovering around 2 to 5%, maybe a couple 7s in there. Interesting. And then Epic UA cost. What does that mean? Does that mean how much they're getting out of each buy? What has the most? $6 on Lego Batman. $7, $12 on Celeste. It only got him 2%. Damn, they were banking on Celeste, dude. Ooh, they were banking on Celeste. And Inside. I feel like those didn't work out too well. 12 and 11. And didn't even do that well. Yikes. But they paid over 11, almost 12 million. They probably paid even more now because this is 19. Damn, that's interesting.
$1,000 to well over $1 million. I mean, they are sinking tons of money into that storefront, and it still won't be profitable up until probably 2024, which is crazy to see. But more pertinent to this video is, of course, what Phil Spencer and Tim Sweeney had to say to each other. So the reason that this court case is going on right now is because Epic tried to circumvent Apple taking a cut of everything through the Apple storefront, which was, I think, a 30% cut. And that's pretty egregious, let's be honest. I like Apple products, but that's pretty insane. So they wanted to get around that. They tried to, and it led to this whole free Fortnite battle where now Epic and Apple are engaged in a legal fight. And so while that's happening, all this information's coming out. So Tim Sweeney revealed some emails with Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, and let's just say first and foremost, Phil is as classy as a dude on stage as he is behind the scenes. It's like the PR person's always in his ears. Tim Sweeney emailed Phil Spencer saying, "Hi Phil, long ago we optimistically talked about the possibility of subscription-free multiplayer on Xbox. PlayStation requires subscriptions for multiplayer but exempts free-to-play games including Fortnite. If this is coming, please consider the possibility of timing the program to support Fortnite Season 14 on the launch of August 27th. This was in 2020. This launch will follow the confidential Fortnite Mega Drop 20% price drop that's coming in mid-August, and will be our biggest and best Fortnite season thanks to a huge collaboration with Disney/Marvel. Epic has certain plans for August that will provide an extraordinary opportunity to highlight the value proposition of consoles and PCs in contrast to mobile platforms and onboard new console users. While I can't share any details with any third party at this point, I give you Epic's assurance that our efforts will be positive and supportive of Microsoft, Xbox, and Windows. I realize this is incomplete information and you have a big ship that's slow to turn. So the specific ask is please keep in mind this possibility for August 27th and expect events throughout August to draw the specific opportunity into focus. Tim." Now, it may seem kind of irrelevant, but it's just good setup so you know the context of the conversation, everything that's going on. So what is Phil's response to all of this? Let's read. It's like he's on the E3 stage. This is a text you can hear. "I owe you a bunch of things and I am behind. I apologize for that. Just a lot going on, but that's not an excuse. You've obviously seen our Samsung announce and now our back and forth with Apple. At the highest levels of Microsoft, we are committed to pushing on these policies and continuing to expand our console platform capabilities. You can chime in as you feel comfortable, but I did want to let you know that I have your point on xCloud on other consoles. Haven't given up. Free to play outside of Gold. We will get there, and I want to partner with you. And our store entitlement ideas as items I'm going to review with you to make progress. I'm committed to that. Just behind. Hope you are well, Phil." All right. So, lot to unpack there. Let's start off with the obvious one. xCloud on other consoles. I mean, we've seen the writing on the wall for a long time now between Phil Spencer's shelf, Sarah Bond's shelf. There's been a lot of Nintendo Switches back there, and I think it's pretty clear what that's indicating as talks develop. You'd at least assume. I don't know for sure, but those were deliberately placed. More so Sarah Bond's, which, as I said in a separate video, was in a studio space. I think that's a lot more intentional and kind of wild to see. Whereas with something like Phil Spencer, you could argue it's his room. Maybe it wasn't that intentional, but I thought because it was out of the dock, it was pretty obvious what he was trying to do with that Nintendo Switch. So they haven't given up on that, even though some of Phil's comments publicly have suggested that they're open to it, but they're not sure if it'll actually happen. So they're continuing to try, and we've seen that with the likes of iOS, the likes of Android, Smart TV support coming for Xbox Game Pass. So I believe what's said here. What's really, to me, more interesting and is getting swept under the rug is that Phil also said that they want to do free-to-play Xbox Live Gold. And if you don't remember, they actually tried to hike up the price after this point in time, which leads me to believe that a lot of people will say Phil wants something, Phil gets something, and don't get me wrong at all. Phil absolutely has a ton of control. But it makes me wonder if there's the potential he can be overruled. He can want something, but the team may want something else. That someone above him at Microsoft as a whole said, no, we're going to increase the price of gold. So I actually find it really fascinating in the scheme of things that what we see here is saying we're going to go for free to play on these games like Fortnite, which they eventually did. But what happened between then and now is a little more different than what I think Epic had ever anticipated. Anyway, still something I wanted to put out there. So xCloud on other consoles doesn't mean it's a guarantee it'll happen, but Xbox internally still desires this, as we can see with teases around the industry. All right, let's get into the next rumor. This one has to do with Lucasfilm games to Xbox. This may sound familiar if you listen to either Ham Radio Podcast or Defining Duke. where I tend to drop my scoops. This one I dropped on April 24th, or 25th, sorry, on Defining Duke. So go ahead and take a listen. You've got Spider-Man PS4, we got Miles Morales. I think Xbox probably wants to take that's what I heard, Xbox wants to take the Lucasfilm route. So we're seeing that with Indiana Jones, and there is another developer from the first-party Xbox team that I've heard is working on a pretty well-known IP. So there's some really exciting stuff around the corner. So I'm like, if they're going to pre-announce that type of stuff, then I think they really should. This was followed up by a report from Jeff Grubb on his Game Mess show, where he said that Lucasfilm is making deals for multiple Star Wars games, which one of them that's rumored is Mandalorian. Microsoft could be working on an exclusive Star Wars game. We might get Star Wars games on Game Pass today, which is May the 4th. And then we also have Battlefield 6 info that should start dropping this week. So a pretty big scoop there. There's been a lot of speculation in the community. Kind of oddly, I don't see anything supporting it that like Battlefield 6 might be a Game Pass game. We'll see. I think that's just based heavily off of the fact that EA and Xbox are working together with, of course, Xbox Game Pass and now FPS Boost. But when it comes to the Lucasfilm stuff, this was something I said a while ago. Didn't really get picked up outside of, I think, one Reddit post put it out there. So thank you to those who do spread the information I try to put out there. I think information is key. I think it's really important that other sources get scooped up. And we will see when exactly these Lucasfilm games start to roll out. Like Jeff said in his Games Mess show, which you should check out, by the way, he stated that Lucasfilm likes to take their time putting these deals together. And of course, because they just sort of released the shackles from the EA deal, this is something that's more conceptual speaking. And given that Xbox likes to announce things in a conceptual manner, we've seen that time in, time out between Perfect Dark, the likes of Fable, the list goes on. I wouldn't be surprised that they would try to announce one of these Lucasfilm games at their E3 show. Like I said in the video, I heard that someone within the Microsoft first-party family is working on a Lucasfilm IP. I'm not going to say who it is. I don't want to spoil anyone's big reveals. It's not my place to do that. I just, like I said, want to provide the information on what exactly is happening and what fans can really start to expect. But I just wanted to recap this here on the channel because I know not everyone listens to the multiple podcasts I'm in, from my Q&A on my Patreon to, of course, my ham radio podcast, Defining Duke Ultimate. I know I'm in a lot of spots, so there's only so much of me you can take. So I just wanted to recap that information here because I just trust that when I put the information out there, it will get picked up by other sites and sources and so on and so forth. Because what I'm starting to see now is what's interesting. This is a little off topic, but what's starting to happen is when people pick up my information, they call me Maddie of Defining Duke. And it's like, I'm Mr. Maddie Plays. So if you watch this video and I see you putting my name in there, it's just Maddie, and you're not fucking linking my channel, I'm going to be tight. Last but certainly not least, FPS Boost 2 Xbox. And a lot of these games are available on Game Pass. So a post shows like 90 plus FPS boosted games. So these are all last gen games that are now running at 60, 120 frames. And I mean, this is what it's all about. There's no sense in just going through the list. I'm showing it here on screen for all of you. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. But to me, this is what it's all about. This is what backwards compatibility is all about. This is how Xbox can sell a lot of units, because these are the little marginal things that I think add up for a lot of people, right? You can look at the games, the exclusives, you can line up some of the values in their subscription services, but little things like this can be enough to push people over the edge. Just saying, hey, not only the new things are going to do this, this, that, but your old things will do 60 FPS, still look better. That's huge for a lot of gamers. So I don't need to really overstate that. I don't think it needs to be expanded upon. I don't want to milk the topic. I just think it's pretty clear how good FPS Boost is, and I wanted to highlight it here in this video strictly because FPS Boost, especially when it was first announced, was this thing where the industry really slept on it. Like, there were 4 games that were announced for FPS Boost. I think one of them was Far Cry 4, Super Lucky Tail, I want to say Sniper Elite 4, and something else. And all these games were announced, and they were like, yeah, we're going to start boosting the older library of games, which is huge, by the way, because once again, this is where backwards compatibility is heading, and especially when you get these games on Game Pass, now they're looking better, running better, and they're available through the subscription service, which is great value. But no one really was talking about it outside of the people who got to test it. So yeah, I was just kind of surprised by all of that. And so now people are catching on to it. Anyway, that's all I've got for you in this Xbox news video. Later this week, you're going to see Humanity's Worst Game. You're going to see RPG Time Machine. Really excited about those. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this Xbox news update, and I'll catch you next time. Big thank you to all the patrons, new and old, who have supported the heck out of the new 2.0 launch. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.
I don't know which setup I like better. I don't know if I like this setup at all. Not bad. It's not the best. So mad I don't know what fucking I use. Can I check? I wonder if I can check an old VOD. God damn it, is my name over it? I think it is. God damn it, it is. Fuck. Well, that sucks. Oh. Okay. I feel pretty done for today. I think I like if there is words, I think I like them at the top. As like, this is what they say. And then the action happens. You know what I mean? So like, so this is you get this for this. Like if you get $3 if your attack, defense, or speech is over 3. You shop, I mean this doesn't make sense, you get intel if you pay $1. You get system intel if your speech is over 6. So you go up to him, he says this, you pay him, you get intel. He says this, you shop, you get the choice. Do this. It turns out that it is over 3, you get this. Now for a target encounter, it would be different. Because there might be repercussions. So here it would be dice roll. Should I don't want to do it right now. I might do it off stream. It would be dice. It would be just like this. Maybe. It would be dice roll. Then words. I feel like it's hard for shit to fit like all of that in here though. It'd be minus hearts or capture, kill, like maybe this part would be smaller, this part would be larger. Dice rolls here is like I mean, it'll be a little different because here it wouldn't be. It would kind of only be text. Or no, it wouldn't. No, because you need the fucking file. I mean, it would be less, maybe, option. I need to think about this. I need to work this out off stream. At least we got 2 new versions of what this might look like. I like this. The thing is there more necessary here? Is my question. Is this doesn't feel like too much information. The one thing it's missing, technically, is like steal, interrogate. Or like something like this. Could we hear like steal? Like if it's take. Like it could be here. Like that. Something like that. I can play around with fonts and stuff, like, it's fine. Alright, that's good enough for now. Thanks anyone who showed up. It was kind of a slow stream, that's fine. Sometimes you need those. And I mean, I did explain myself a lot in the beginning. A lot of reading. A lot of thinking this week. I'll probably work on the templates for this throughout the week. Probably during the drawing stream too, hopefully. Because it's kind of the next thing I need to do anyway. Then just generally think about this health system and how that's gonna work. Probably just make it a repercussion. Like, I mean, I don't have, like here, if... See, because here I have reroll as a repercussion. So if you fail to do it, you just reroll. Which some of them could be reroll. Some of them could be minus a heart. Also, can you leave the encounter? Ooh, that's a good question. Probably can be forfeit the forfeit a target encounter, but the planet that would still occur. They feel in danger. Alright. I think it's good. Alright.